Hey everyone, this is episode 4 of our JavaScript interview preparation series. Honestly, I am super excited about today's topic because it's one of those concepts that can make or break your JavaScript foundation. Let's begin with something simple, closer example. Let's write function outer. Here we will have one inner function. Now what we'll do, we'll write here a variable that is cb equal to 200, and now what we'll do is we'll try to access that b from our inner function, that is b. So now what we are trying to do here is we have one outer function and we have one inner function. So we are trying to access a b variable that is not in inner function, that is outside of inner function. Okay, so let's call this function and call the outer function as well. Now what will be the output? Can you guess it? Yeah, right. So we are trying to access b, so b will be 200. So you can see b is printed, right? Okay, so let's run a debugger and we'll put a breakpoint at the line number 7 and let's run this one. Can you see here there is something called closer outer function, it was mentioned here. Yes, so this is basically a closer. So it's very simple. So function along with their lexical scope bundled together, it's basically forms a closer. It's very simple. So before closer, you have to understand what is lexical scope. So as you can see here that we have one variable b which is outside of that inner function. So what happened if tomorrow this b is not present in the outside and if it is present in the inside inner function? So what will happen? Lexical mean first it will check in their own scope. If it is not present, then it will go to the outer scope, outer lexical scope. If it is not there, then it will go outer parent's lexical scope. Like how it will happen, let me give an example so you'll understand better. So now what we have done, there is one variable that is within b inner function only. If you run this one, you can access, yes, 200 was printed. If tomorrow we don't have here, we have in the outer as you can see already, so it will be accessed. If it is not there in the outer also, so it will check their outer parent's lexical scope. First it will check their own. If it is not there, they will check with their parent lexical scope. If it is not there, they will check with parent's lexical scope, which is the global scope. So as this is only basically, it's very simple. This is what lexical scope is. Okay, so I hope you understood lexical scope. Now get back to our today's topic, that is closer. So now what we have here, we have one outer and inner function. What we will do, instead of calling this function, we will just return this function. So now what this outer function is doing, outer function is returning one inner function. Let's store in a variable that is a. So what a will do is, a will store the inner function just because outer function returned inner function. Let's console and see what actually. Okay, if you run this, what you are expecting? Will it be undefined? Will it be error or something? Let's see. As you can see here, it was printed only inner function, this one, right? Okay, now if we will access this inner function, or if you will call this function, if we can access this one, will it be printed b like 200 or what? Because now you can see here that we have only access here inner function, right? Because it was showing right that only. Let's run and check. As you can see, yes, b was printed. Strange, right? Like how, like we have returned this function, outer function, and outer function it removed from our call stack, everything happened like execution context. So this is basically closer behavior, like what they not only just send the function with their lexical scope, they return. They are not only just return that what we have called within that also they return. Okay, let me show you here. If you go and if you check here, they not just return, they return with their lexical scope. As you can see here, it basically forms a closure. Okay, so now we'll go one more step deeper. What we will do is b equal to 100. So now can you tell me what will be the answer? Because b is already b is returned, inner function was returned. Will it be 100 or 200 or something else? Okay, so let's run this one and check. Yeah, as you can see, it was just giving the return with 100, but you are expecting it will give 200, right? Because of they return that b variable. No, actually it was not like that. So how it was happening, they just return the b variable memory location, or we can say its reference. They return the reference of that b variable. So before returning, our b variable memory is updating. So that's why when we are accessing this one, till that time our b variable got updated to 100. So what happened if we'll return before b is assigning? So now can you guess this one? What will happen? Yeah, as expected, 200, because we not giving chance to assign that one. So many people they might have a issue, yeah, before assigning or returning, so it was not applying. So what we will do is, instead of returning, we'll just call here. We'll just call here. So now can you tell me what will be the answer? Yeah, that's what. Let's run and check. Yeah, it was 200. That's why I'm trying to giving you with a different approach, so you can understand that closure is not only just return that function, like it will return with their lexical scope, whatever value they are using, each references it will return. So what we will do now is we'll create one more step closure, like function. For an example, I give this function name as a parent, and here we have create one variable called d, and that value is 500. And we just copy this function, we cut this function and paste it here. And now b and d, both value we are trying to access. Now can you tell me like what will be the answer? Like if we'll call this one, what will be the output? Will it be still closure will work, or now closure will not work because it is too much nested, like 3 layer it was there already? Let's run and check. Yeah, it was working fine. 200 and 500. Yeah, even if it is an like 5 layer of closure also, still it will work as same. Now let me show you something magic. If you will put a debugger and line number 6, please see carefully this one. There is 2 closure was created, not one. One is outer, another one is parent. So this is how closure is working. If tomorrow we are not using this outer scope, or we can say outer scope, closure, for an example, we don't have any variable in outer, we'll remove this one. So if you see now, this is like optimization, how JavaScript is optimizing. Now you can see only one closure, that is parent, but although we are having nested function, if JavaScript keeps storing this outer also as a closure, so this will be like having issue for memory leakage or garbage collected. So our app will be very slow. So JavaScript is very smart. So whatever value we are using, they will create within that lexical environment. Within that, they will create references, and with that value only they will return us. I hope you understood this one. We'll show you another example which is also using memory. Now what we will do is we'll create one counter function, create counter. This counter value now we'll keep as 0, and we will return this function as first we will increment and then we will print that one. Now what will happen, we'll just store that create counter function output, will store into one variable, that is counter, create counter. So now what we have done is whatever value they are returning, whatever function they are returning, we are storing into one counter. Now can you tell me, if we will call this one, what will happen? What will be the output for this one? And if we twice call, what will be the output for this one? Just tell me what will be the output. Yeah, it was just incrementing once, so as it will be 1, right? Yeah, and again it was incrementing once, so it will be again 1, right? Now let's see the magic. If you run this one, yeah, it was not showing 1 1. Why? That is my point. They are remembering their reference. So they are not just storing that value. Each time they are not created one separate value, separate variable. That is still 1. So tomorrow if we invoke this one once again, so it will be 3. See, even though create counter finished long ago, the inner function still remember the count. That's basically closure action. They help us to create private variable. They help us to maintain state between function call. They help us to foundation of design pattern like currying and once function. We will go into once function, means IIFE, immediately invoke function, that we will see in the next example. Now what we will do is, there are most common interview example used to ask interviewers that most of the people used to fail to give this answer because it was very much tricky. So they didn't understand that how this is behind the scene happening. So what we'll do is we'll run a loop that I equals to 1, I less than equal to 3, I plus plus, and we'll run a setTimeout and we'll console console.log I value, and each 1 second we are giving 1 second interval. So can you tell me what will be the output? Like each 1 second there will be 3 loop will be running, right? So according to you there will be 1, then 2, then 3, right? Because we are running the 3 times that loop, 1 to 3, and each 1 second interval it will be printed. If you are thinking that, you're wrong. Let me run this one and we'll show. See, after 3 seconds 4 was printed, not once, it was 4 was printed 3 times. That's why here you can see 3 was there. So this happens because of how closure work with where and execution context. Here where I function scope, where I is a function scope, basically variable only function scope. So all the anonymous function inside, whatever this is the inside anonymous function was there in the setTimeout, they share only same I references. So by the time setTimeout executes, after 1 second the loop has been finished. So now the loop value, the I value is 4. Because it is in function scope, this is not a block scope. So once it was 4, so whenever we are trying to run the 4 time event, so it was giving 4 4 4 3 things. That is the main thing. That's why we are getting 4 4 4 instead of 1 2 3, because the where is in function scope. So if interviewer tomorrow they are asking how can you fix, like interviewer want this output 1 2 3, it should be like this form. So how we will fix? There are two main way we can fix. First one is very simple, just use one block scope variable like let and const. If you use let, it will be fix that issue 1 2 3. But that here is the trick, most of the interviewer will not agree, they will say use var only. So if interviewer asking use var, you can't use let and const, like block scope variable you can't use. How we will do the same thing achievement, like 1 2 3 they need. So here we have to create another closure, that is basically IIFE. We can create one immediately invoke function here that will be called once only. How, what is the syntax of this one IIFE? Please see, we have to create two, and within this first one we can write function. That's it. This is basically the syntax of IIFE, immediately invoke function. This will run only once, they don't have any name, this is anonymous. So what we will do is we'll take this code and we'll paste it here. Now we are taking one variable that is j and we are passing here that is I. That's it. Now if you run this one, within where only you can achieve the same output what interviewer want. Sorry, just a minute, here I forgot to change j. Yeah, that's what. Now you can achieve the same output what interviewer wants, 1 2 3. So far today what we have discussed, that is closure, how closure is working, how lexical scope is working, function plus their lexical scope. They remember the reference of variables like we have discussed, like the closure, whatever they return, they remember the reference of the variables. How loop plus setTimeout, this one loop plus setTimeout, how this references they remember, how the block scope work. And the last one is we have used IIFE to fix the issue, but we have used IIFE to fix the issue. This is what interviewer wants from you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video helped you. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.